to Almost Functional. Here with another index review. The Chaos stuff dropped today. Uh, so right here we got we jumping in with the Chaos Knights. So their army rule is Harbingers of Dread. If your army faction is Chaos Knight, each model from your army with this ability gives a bonus depending on which Dread abilities are active for your army. See below. Once a Dread ability is active for your army, that ability applies till the end of the battle. So the first battle roll onwards, Despair ability is active. It's an aura. Well, enemy units within 12 of this model, each time that enemy unit takes a Battle Shock test, subtract 1 to the leadership. Or Battle Shock leadership, subtract 1 from the test. That's solid. Anytime you can affect Battle Shock, that's helpful. And then the other ability activates on turn 3. Doom and Darkness. Each time this model makes an attack, if the target model is Battle Shocked, excuse me, sorry. Add 1 to the rune roll. Each time an attack targets this model, if the attacking model's unit is Battle Shocked, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Then they have Super Heavy Walkers. Each time a model with this ability makes a normal, advance, or fallback move, it can move over models, excluding Titanic models and terrain features that are 4 inches or less in height, as if they were not there. So this lets you move over enemies and lets you move over monsters and vehicles, so that's nice. The first part of the army roll, that's nice. The second part, that's cool. We'll see what they get in their detachment abilities. This is just kind of okay, just as a rule, so see how much other stuff pairs with it to see if it's really good as we get through this. And then you have Dreadblades. Every model in your army has the Chaos keyword. You can include either 1 Titanic Chaos Knight, or this just lets you take 1 Chaos Knight or 3 War Dogs in other Chaos armies. So that's cool. Lets you still take Knights with other stuff. Then their detachment rule is for the Traitorous Lance is Forged in Terror. It's an aura. And the Battle Shock step of your opponent's command phase, if the enemy unit that is below its starting strength is within 12 inches of a Chaos Knight model from your army, that enemy unit must take a Battle Shock test. For the purpose of this ability, if a unit has a starting strength of 1, is considered to be below its starting strength while has lost 1 or more wounds. Alright, so yeah, so basically anybody that's lost, if they're single model units lost a wound, or any units that have lost a model, if they're within 12 of your knights, have to take Battle Shock tests. So now that you're making everything almost take Battle Shock, because if you're a knight and you're near something, you can hopefully kill at least one model or do a wound to it. Then all your other stuff starts adding up. So that's really cool. Let's see. So, and it's in your opponent's command phase. So at the same time, they would take normal Battle Shock tests. I'm still unsure on how the wording is. Would this trigger units below starting strength to take Battle Shock, and then units that are below half strength have to take an additional one for that, or would they just all take one? We'll see. Hopefully when that designer commentary comes out, they clarify taking multiple Battle Shocks in a turn, or not in a turn, in a phase. But that can be nice. Anytime you're turning off objective control and taking strats away from people, that's fairly nice. Then we get to see their enhancements here. The first one is Lord of Dread, Chaos Knight only. At the start of the fight phase, you can select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of the bear. That enemy unit must take a Battle Shock test. Alright, so this is another thing, forcing Battle Shock tests out of normal time. Then they have Aura of Terror, also Chaos Knight model only. If you control an objective marker at the end of your command phase, and the bear is within range of that objective marker, that objective marker is said to be tainted and remains under control even if you have no models within range of it, until your opponent controls it at the start or end of any turn. In addition, while an objective marker is tainted and under your control and the Despair Dread ability is active for your army, the objective marker has the Despair Dread ability as if it was a Chaos Knight model from your army. So subtract 1 from Battle Shock and leadership tests taken for enemy units within 12 of it. Alright, so basically it gives you sticky objectives, and then it hands out neg 1 battle. The objective hands out neg 1 Battle Shock within 12 of it. So sticky's real nice, especially for knights, because you have low model count normally, and then the -1 Battle Shock is just a nice little bonus on top of it. So that's probably worth taking. The the Trader's Mark, Chaos Knight model only. The Doom and Darkness ability is active for the bearer from the first battle round onwards instead of from the third. Alright, so you just basically have your full Doom and Darkness from the your detachment rule or your army rules to begin with. Alright, that's okay. Penelope of the Cursed Knights. Chaos Knight model only. Each time an attack is made against the bearer, subtract one from the armor penetration characteristic of that attack. That could be solid. You know, knights, if you're trying to kill them, you're normally shooting them with big stuff, so subtracting AP from the glass cannons and stuff is not bad. So Aura of Terror, I really like. The Penelope is okay. Trader's Mark is, I mean, you might see some people play that. Lord of Dread, depending on how many points these things are, you may or may not see that one, but Aura of Terror, if I was playing Chaos Knights, I think that would be pretty much an auto take. Then they're rolling us down into the stratagems. We got Dread Hounds. 2 or more War Dog units from your army and 1 enemy unit that is within range. Alright, so you pick 2 of your units and then 1 unit that they're basically going to be targeting. Till end of the phase, the selected War Dog units can only target that enemy unit, but all the weapons equipped by those War Dogs gain sustained hits 1. And if that enemy unit is battle shocked until the end of the phase, each time a War Dog unit makes an attack against it, they get critical hits on 5s. Alright, so basically you pick 2 War Dogs, you pick an enemy unit, you get sustained hits against them, and if they're battle shocked, you get your extra hits on 5s. Alright, that's not bad. Then we got P Terror Shades. Terror? Is the P silent like pterodactyl? Terror Shades? Or is that some sort of typo? I don't know, that's kind of weird looking. Anyway, any phase just after the enemy unit fails a battle shock test, one Chaos Knight unit from your army that is within 12 of that unit. Roll 66. For each 4-up that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound, and this model regains up to 1 lost wound. Alright, so they have lots of stuff that triggers off battle shock. So you definitely want to play into their abilities to cause people to fail battle shock. Then we have Disdain for the Weak. In the fight phase, just after enemy unit has selected its targets, you pick 1 Chaos Knight unit from your army that is selected as the target of 1 or more attacks. Until the end of the phase, your model has the Feel No Pain 6+ ability and the Feel No Pain 5+ ability against attacks made by battle-shocked models. Alright. So you give them a 6 of Feel No Pain, and if the Feel No Pain is 5+ against battle-shocked models. Alright, I mean, 6 of Feel No Pain normally doesn't sound good, but Knights have so many wounds that you actually normally get something out of that, so... then we got a Long Leash used in your command phase, 1 Abhorrent model from your army, and up to 3 War Dog models from your army. Until the start of your next command phase, those War Dog models count as being within range of any aura abilities that the Abhorrent model has. Alright, so basically your big knight buffs the little knights, and you can pop this on 3 of them, and then they can run away, and until your next turn they count as being in range of him for that. Alright, that's cool. We've got Diabolic Bulwark. Your opponent's choosing phase just after the enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Chaos Knight army unit from your army that was selected as a target. Basically give a 4-up against ranged attack. Alright, so this is kind of like the old rotate ion shields and stuff that regular knights had. So you can give one of your knights a 4-up against ranged attacks. That's really nice. Knight of Shade. Your movement phase or charge phase, up to 2 War Dog models from your army, or 1 Titanic Chaos Knight, or so 2 little knights or 1 big knight. Till end of the phase, the selected models can move horizontally through models and terrain features as if they were not there. Oh, so basically you can just like warp through stuff. That actually could be really nice. You need to get a charge or get to an objective or something, and you don't have to go all the way around the building and stuff. You pop this, just basically phase through it. Honestly, do this 2 turns, or phase through one building, charge through another, and just pop this twice in a turn because it's 2 separate phases. Actually, that's really useful for knights. That's really cool. I like that Knights of Shade. So they got some decent stratagems. Then we got the War Dog Executioner. So this looks like it's probably going to be the standard War Dog profile. 12-inch move, T10, 3-up save, 12 wounds, leadership 7, objective control 8, which is nice. Demon Breath Meltagun is 12-inch range, standard Melta. After that, Heavy Stubber, 36-inch range, strength 5, 3 shots. He's got an autocannon that's neg 1 3 damage, strength 9, that's nice, 4 shots. Armored feet are okay. Executioner, each time this model makes an attack that targets a unit below half strength, add 1 to the hit roll. Alright, so he's real good at like finishing off units. And once he's down to 4 wounds, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So we got 2 of those autocannons, so you're getting 8 shots from that. That's not horrible. Are these the same ones that used to be like 2d3 last edition? So basically they're giving you the average number of shots, so no spiking up or down, you just know how many shots you have. Actually kind of like that. So Executioner looks solid. Then we got the Stalker. He's got the standard profile. He's got the chain cannon, 12 attacks, strength 6, neg 1 1 damage. Demon Breath Spear is 24-inch melt to 4. That's nice. 2 shots, strength 12, neg 4 d6. He's got the Havoc multi-launcher. Only strength 5 1 or strength 5 damage 1, d6 shots. That's more a little troop shooting unit. And then you got the Heavy Stubber again. So his chain spear, or not chain spear, his Demon Breath Spear is really nice. So you got the chain cannon, the multi-launcher, you kill some chaff off, and then you got the Demon Breath Spear, 2 shots to really put the hurt on something big. Alright, and then he's got the Chain Talon for combat, strike and sweep. 4 attacks to 8 attacks, strength 10 to strength 8, neg 3 to neg 2, 3 damage to 1 damage. And then you can give him the Slaughter Claw, which is 4 attacks, strength 12, neg 3, d6 plus 2. Nice, and all his combat hits on 3s. Excuse me. So each time this model makes an attack that targets an enemy unit, if there are no other units from your opponent's army within 6 of that target, add 1 to the wound roll. Alright, so basically he's good at like picking out little units that are out on their own, gets bonuses against that. Solid profile, he comes with the chain cannon, and you can upgrade it to the spear. So, yeah, you make him going after troops, or you're making him going after big stuff. War Dog Carnivore. He's got a 14, so he's got 2 extra movement, but the rest of his profile is exactly like the rest. He's got the Heavy Stubber, the multi-launcher, and then he's got the Chain Talon, which is 6 attacks and 12. I think the strength of stats are the same as up above, but he just gets lots of attacks from it. There's a Slaughter Claw, which is 6 attacks. So he just gets more attacks, but not as much shooting. You can reroll charge rolls made for this model. Alright, I mean, just your little combat knight. He has, looks like they have the same combat weapons, just he gets a couple more attacks. 2, 4, and 2. So, that's all. We'll see what the points are on them, but if they're cheap enough, you just run a bunch of these little guys. I'm interested to see if, because at the end of last edition, little knights spam with maybe 1 big knight, possibly 2, but mostly little knights was the preferred way of most Chaos Knight players. I want to see if that's still the case, or if both versions, hopefully both versions are equally viable, like mostly big, a couple little, and mostly little, couple big, or just all big, all little. Hopefully there's enough balance in here that you can really run it however you enjoy running it and still be competitive. Not have to run it a certain way just to be competitive. Run it how you want and just be competitive as long as you play well. Then we got the Brigand. He's got the standard profile, chain cannon, demon spear, so all the same weapons. Each time this model makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible unit, improve the armor penetration character of attack by 1. So he shoots the closest unit, plus 1 AP. I'm not a big fan of the stuff that forces you to target the closest unit, but... And then he comes with the chain cannon and the demon spear, and actually his only option is dropping the stubber for the multi-launcher. Alright, so he's just your straight up shooting one. All he's got is your armored feet. And then we got the Huntsman. He's got the Demon Breath Meltagun and the Demon Breath Spear. So, same profiles as before, but now you got basically 3 Melta shots. One's definitely better. Then he's got the Chain Talon. Each time this model makes an attack against a monster vehicle, reroll a wound roll of 1 and reroll a damage roll of 1. Alright, so that's real nice. You just running out those meltas, you get that shot through and you roll those ones. It's always bad. Uh, I know some of you are thinking, yeah, but I'm just going to reroll that one into a one. I know, it happens. But, what can you do? At least you have the option. And then it comes with a Demon Breath Spear, the Stubber, and the Chain Talon. And the Stubber. So basically, you drop the Stubber for the Meltagun. That's really nice. So basically, you'll have the two Meltas and the Chain Talon. That's probably the preferred way to run him. Alright, now we're getting into some of the big boys. We got the Knight Despoiler. 10-inch move, toughness 12, 22 wounds. 3-up save, leadership 6, objective control 10. Demon Breath Melta. Demon Breath Thermal Cannon. Blast Melta 6. Oh, that's gross. 24-inch range, 2d3 shots, 3 up to hit, strength 12, neg 4, d6 damage. So if you get within 12 inches, it's d6 plus 6 damage. Then he's got the Despoiler Battle Cannon, Blast, Rapid Fire d6 plus 3. So 72 inches. So once you get within 36 inches, it's 2d6 plus 6. Hits on 3, strength 10, neg 1, 3 damage. That's a solid weapon. The Despoiler Gatling Cannon, 36-inch range, 18 shots, 3 up, strength 6, neg 2, 2 damage. Havoc Missile Pod, indirect, 48 inches, d6 plus 1, 3 up hit, strength 5, AP 0, 1 damage. And he's got a blast on a couple of these, which is really nice. The Heavy Dark Flamer, look like it's just a heavy flamer. They added dark to the word. Then the Stubber. Then the Rune Spear Rocket Pod, 48 inches, 3 shots, strength 8, neg 2, d6 damage. Hellstorm Autocannons. Anti-Fly 2 plus and Twin Link. That's nice. So 48 inches, 3 shots, strength 7, neg 1, 2 damage. And Anti-Fly is nice, especially since it's not anti-aircraft, so you will see a lot of fly in most armies. So, let's go. Very solid weapon profiles. Then he's got the Reaper Chainsword. Strike and sweep. 4 goes to 12 on the attacks. 14 goes to 9 on strength. Neg 4 to neg 3 AP. 6 to 2 damage. Alright, that's solid damage. Solid amount of attacks. Titanic Feet. Then you can take the Warp Strike Claw, which also has a strike and sweep. 4 attacks to 8. Strength 20 to strength 10. Neg 3 to neg 2. Strength 8. Or is it 8 damage to 3 damage. Alright, so he's got some really good combat weapons. Then he has a Dread Dominion. While a friendly War Dog is within 9 inches of the model, each time that War Dog takes a Battle Shock test, add 1 to that test. Alright, that's okay. Each time a model is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll when resolving those attacks. So it's one or the other, not both, but that's alright. And then he tiers at 7. He comes with the Meltagun, the Chainsword, and the Warp Claw. And the Chainsword can replace for the Gatling Cannon, the Thermal Cannon, or the Battle Cannon, and they come with a little attached gun on some of those. And the Warp Strike can replace one, so you can run him double weapon, 1 weapon, 1 gun, 2 guns, and then you can put the top guns on top. So lots of versatility in how you can kit these guys out. Then the Knight Desecrator. He has the Desecrator Laser Destructor, 72-inch range, 3 shots, strength 18, neg 4, d6 plus 3 damage. That's solid. And then just the Heavy Stubber. Then he has the Chainsword No Strike Claw, so same weapons. He has Obsessive Ruthlessness. Each time this model makes a ranged attack against a monster or vehicle unit, that attack has the Devastating Wounds ability. So each time this model makes a ranged attack, so against monsters and vehicles, his Laser Destructor and his Heavy Stubber too, if you roll a 6 to wound, becomes mortals. So that's big on that Laser Destructor. D6 plus 3 mortals going into something. That's not nothing to laugh at. Then Taskmaster. While a friendly War Dog model is within 9 of this model, each time a War Dog model makes a ranged attack, reroll hit roll of 1. Alright, so he hands out reroll 1s to the little guys. Very nice. He comes with the Laser Destructor. In the Chainsword, you can swap the Chainswords for the Claw. Then we got the Knight Rampager. Just the Heavy Stubber, and then he has the Chainsword and the Warp Strike Claw. So Bloodlust. Each time this model makes a charge move until the end of the turn, its melee weapons have sustained hits 1 ability. In addition, once per battle, when this model is eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which advanced. Alright, so once per battle, you can just decide, hey, I'm advancing and charging. No strat, no, don't have to wait for a specific turn. That's really nice. And then anytime he charges, just extra hits. So you got 6 and 18, so you average 1 extra hit here, average 3 extra hits here, 1 extra hit here, 2 extra hits here. So even if you ran in and swung the, and everything hits, also even if you ran in and swung the 2 big attacks into something, you should roll a 1 and a 6, so balance out, so you should get 12 hits. And here, if you're trying to kill little stuff, you're going to get same thing, your 1s and 6s should be, I mean, obviously dice spike one way there, but on average, they'll balance out, so you'll get 30 hits into little stuff. Yeah, this guy is a combat monster. Like, there's not much in the game big or, and he's one of the few things, like, because knights don't have a lot of models, so they have to do this, but most armies, they tried to eliminate the ability for something to be good at killing big stuff and little stuff. This guy fills that role. Like, you should take him in every list, because no matter what you're fighting, he can wreck it. Uh, yeah, and he has no options. He just comes with the stubborn and the 2 combat weapons. Then we got the Knight Abominant. Ooh. So yeah, 20. Oh, and I was skipping their movements. So he goes 12. All right. So the combat one moves faster. All the rest of them look like they move 10. The Abominant, same profile there. Stubber Volkite Combuster has devastating wounds. It's 30-inch range, 9 attacks, 3 hits, strength 12, AP 0 though, 3 damage. So AP 0, I mean, yeah, it's gonna wound good and does good damage, but everybody's getting their full armor save unless you roll that 6. So you should get at least 1, possibly 2 every time you shoot this. Well, hitting on 3 is 9 attacks. You hit 6 times. Yeah, so you should get 1 mortal through one every time you shoot it, pretty much. But other than that, they're getting saves against it. So I'm surprised he has no P at all. That's a little. Then he has Bale Mace, and this has extra attack, so he'll get to swing both these weapons. Oh, that is all right. So the other knight, you can't. Neither of his, the combat knight, neither of his has extra attacks. So you really. That's interesting. Unless there's another rule they put up for knights that they can always swing all their weapons. He only gets to swing one of these each turn. That's interesting. That's I hope they put something in there saying like super heavy or something. They can always swing all their attacks or something. But anyway, the Bale Mace has extra attacks, so he can swing both these. No, I guess not, because they gave this extra attacks to make sure he could swing both, and they didn't. All they had to do is give one of those extra attacks just on that model. Alright, yeah, so it looks like he is stuck to swinging one on the other guy, but this guy gets to swing both. 3 attacks, strength 8, neg 1, 2 damage, and then 9 attacks, strength 10, neg 2, 3 damage. And this one has sustained hits, so he hits solid. Vortex Terrors. At the start of your shooting phase, select one enemy unit within 12 inches of this model. That unit must take a battle shock test. Alright, so yeah, once again, causing extra battle shock test. Causing extra battle shock test is never a bad thing. And then at the end of your movement phase, roll 1d6 for each unit within 9 inches of this model. On a 3 plus, that enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Alright, so yeah, you just move, and then for each enemy unit within 9, you can possibly do mortals. 2/3 of the time. Alright. So he seems solid. Not quite as good as he was last edition. Last edition, he was, like, I think, really good, just because he had so many different psychic powers to choose from, but he seems solid. Knight Tyrant. Alright, so this guy's got the Brimstone Volcano Lance, which is Blast, D3 shots, 3 hits, Strength 20, neg 5, D6 plus 8 damage. Ouch. So you better hope you got invul saves. Then the Dark Flame Cannon, 18-inch range, 3d6, auto hit, strength 8, neg 1, 2 damage, ignores covers torrent. Alright, 3d6 shots, this is the guy you want to do your Overwatch with, right there. 3d6 torrent shots, yes. Then he gets the Ectoplasma Decimator, 36 inches, d6 plus 3, hits on 3, strength 8 goes to 9, neg 2 goes to next 3, 2 goes to 3 damage. He's got the Geostrike missile launcher, anti-Titanic 4+, devastating wounds, 72-inch range, 1 attack, 3-bit strength 12, neg 60, 6+1 damage. So that's good if you're fighting other knights. Then he's got the Meltagun and the Twin Desiccator Cannon. So the Twin Desiccator Cannon is blast, twin linked, 36-inch range, D6 shots, 3-bit strength 6, 1 damage. And then the Warp Shock Harpoon, anti-monster and anti-vehicle 4+, devastating wounds, 18-inch range, 1 shot, 2 up to hit, strength 24, neg 6, 12 damage. I mean, if you're fighting infantry, well, if you get the 6 for the mortals, it'll be great, but against infantry, most of the time you're just killing one really good. But if you're shooting a vehicle or a monster, they better not fail that invul, because that's going to kill a lot of them in one shot. Alright, then he has Infernal Aegis. While a friendly War Dog model is within 6 of this model, that War Dog model has the benefit of cover. And then enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set up within 12 of this model. Alright, so that's nice. So he gives the 12-inch Deep Strike Deny, and he gives cover to Little Knights. Alright, so we'll see what his points are, but with these weapon loadouts you can choose from, definitely might see some play. Yeah, he comes with the Lance and the Decimator, and 2 of the missile launchers, 2 Meltaguns, and the Twin Desecrator Titanic. So the Lance and the Decimator can be replaced with 1 Dark Flame Cannon and 1 Warp Shock Harpoon. So basically you have to drop the Volcano Lance and the Decimator, and you get the Dark Flame and the Harpoon. And then the 2 missile launchers can replace with 1 missile launcher and 2 cannons. Alright, so basically you run 2 missiles or 1 missile and 2 cannons. It's probably the better way for more shots, unless you're really tanking in for him to kill other Titanic stuff. And then, yeah, that's depending on what you're having him do in your list. You just let you choose those options. He seems fine. He seems, I mean, obviously they were super expensive last edition. Oh, and that's the end of their data sheets. So I really like what I see. I mean, we don't know points yet, but most of their models seem to have lots of good weapons and options. So if they're pointed decently, I think Chaos Knights will do very well personally. Good strats, army rules, cool. I mean, decent. I mean, if you play into all the battle shock and stuff, it's not horrible. You can make it work, especially end of the game. People start failing some battle shocks when it's a tight game. You're trying to get those objectives, and you got high OC. No, I like Chaos Knights. If you're a Chaos Knight player, I would not be upset with this at all. But that's it for Chaos.